community.
And a steep climb and the costs to repair a popular biking and hiking trail.
You are watching Channel
Along the ruins of what was once acres of prosperous farmland. Good evening. National and state farming leaders toured the flood-ravaged area. Lisa?
Dee and Dan, the camera's eye doesn't begin to capture the magnitude of destruction of Earl Stolte's farm, but imagine what your home would look like after being bombed or after a major earthquake. Then you'll begin to realize the powerful force of the river.
Something you can't believe, really. Can't believe it could ever happen.
This is what Earl Stolte's farm looked like 1 month ago. All 1,200 acres buried beneath 15 feet of water. And this is what the current from the rushing river did to his road. The crumpled pieces of asphalt spewed about haphazardly. Stolte's farm equipment tossed about the ruined cornfields like Tonka toys. His collapsed home partially buried in soft sand, and the acres of parched crops. Yet among this seemingly vast wasteland is a ray of hope that illuminates from Earl Stolte.
Will not fall below flood stage until Sunday, but it will on Sunday, and that's good news. Let's check in at 10 o'clock. Temperatures.
And forecasters say the river should drop below the 30-foot stage later tonight. Today is the 80th day the river has been above flood stage at St. Louis. The previous record was set at
when they think the river levels are back to normal, a storm blows through, and well, you can see what happens. The vicious flood cycle continues, and that makes it hard on people trying to put the pieces of their lives back together. From the air today, West Alton looks like several islands with roads once again underwater. In fact, in order to get from St. Charles to West Alton, you must backtrack through St. Louis County. Residents say the rivers almost seem to be playing a cruel trick on them. Just as flood victims think it's safe to return and clean, water tries to block their path. But the unpredictable river won't keep some from picking up.
Valley Park, where the Merrimack River has been rising dramatically, over 6 feet in the last 12 hours or so, and that's where our News Channel 5's Michelle Hoffland is right now to bring us an update on the situation there. Michelle.
Well, Jeff, it's still raining out here, and this is certainly not a welcome sight for the people who live around here, but it's certainly not raining as hard and as quickly as it has been for the past couple days that brought all this water out to this area. We understand that the Highway Department is right now at the intersection of 141 and Highway 44, which is about a quarter mile that way. We understand they've got barrels out, and they're about ready to close Route 141. I guess the water is under about Route 141. The northbound lane is under about this much water right now. Now, I'm standing live here on Vance Road, and you can see it's under about 4 feet of water. What's ironic is that this road it was only closed for a short time during the summer. It was only under a few feet of water. Right now, we understand the Merrimack is rising higher and faster than all the other rivers around here. It's at 28.6 feet, and that's about 12 feet above flood stage. Now, we understand that it's expected to rise to 32 feet, which is another 4 feet, and that would put Valley Park School right here underneath water. They've already vacated part of the school, part of the post office, and the Highway Department. Many businesses are moving out. One of the business owners that has already begun moving out is Kurt Adams. Thank you very much for sparing some time because you've been really busy for the past few days. Tell me, what have you been seeing here?
Well, the water started coming in the yard a couple days ago, and it's slowly rising, and it's in the shop now about 8 to 9 feet.
I looked inside your basement, and boy, you can't even see the stairs going into where your shop was in your trucking company.
No, it's rising pretty fast.
You're really tired right now. You were up here late moving everything out last night. Now you're back here today. You'd planned on moving some more things out today, but you couldn't, could you?
That's right. We can't get in now. It's too high.
Lose much?
Quite a bit.
So what are you doing right now?
I just call the Corps of Engineers to see what the crest is going to be, and then they tell me 32 foot, but that'll probably change. So we might have to move out. Might have to move everything out.
You haven't seen floodwaters like this in quite a while, have you?
No, not since 1982. You know, it was about 41 foot, and we had to move everything out.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Adams. I know this is a busy day for you, and best of luck. This is moving day out here. People are busy moving and trying to get everything high above the water. We'll be out here all day, and we'll have updates for you. Reporting live from Valley Park, I'm Michelle Hoffland, News Channel 5.
Michelle, let me ask you one question. You showed us the school behind you. How far is the water now from actually getting to the school?
Well, it's just over there, which is, I don't know, about 300 feet or so.
So that water you showed us before is the water that is the way the direction the water is coming toward the school.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Okay, Michelle, thank you very much. Michelle Hofland in Valley Park. Again, they've got some problems there, and some areas that did not flood in July and August are now going underwater. And you heard that business owner say that he couldn't even get back in his business to move things today. And again, as Paul Williams indicated earlier, right now the rib top, but is starting to, it's been affected by a sand boil this morning. Water is getting into the Chesterfield Valley area, although crews are still out trying to shore up the levee at this hour. Sandbagging is set to resume shortly in Kimmswick. Just 3 weeks ago, part of that sandbag levee was torn down. Now Kimmswick must raise the levee 5 feet before the flood crest this weekend. And if you can help out, volunteers are needed to help sandbag in many parts of the St. Louis area. You can report to the Salvation Army's Flood Relief Center at 2nd and Potomac. That started at about 8 o'clock this morning, continuing through the morning. And sandbaggers are also needed in St. Charles City at 370 North Drive. That's off of Missouri Highway 94 North. And in House Springs, residents are looking for volunteers with boats to come to 3449 Burnsville Road. That's along the Big River. And we'll be back with more in partner Gene Jackson and Alan Barklage in Chapter 5 for an update on the flooding situation in Chesterfield. Gene.
Jeff, this is the site that business owners in Chesterfield Valley did not want to see. This is the makeshift levee in front of the Monarch levee on Etherton Road. You can see the crews are working frantically trying to shore it up, but it seems to be to no avail this morning. There is a huge sand boil. You can see the water bubbling up on the other side of that levee. It's been bubbling that way for quite some time, and it does not appear that there is much that these emergency work crews can do about it. Alan?
Well, they are continuing to fight this and hold this water back, but again, that water is coming through at such a tremendous rate. I'm not sure how long they can hold that levee completely together. A lot of people out here, a lot of heavy equipment, dump trucks dumping gravel and trying to hold the water back. But again, you can see in several areas the water is starting to come through the gravel.
As Alan said, that is not the only problem there. The sand boil is, of course, the biggest problem on this levee. But there are several areas along this Etherton Road levee, this gravel levee, where the water is seeping through. You can see kind of the whitish water over the road in some portions, and that's another area where this levee just simply cannot hold the water as it rises out here.
Gene, it appeared to me at the large sand boil down on the other end of Etherton Road there, the water appeared to be coming through much faster than when we first came to you at the beginning of the show.
I'd say that's true. It's still raining out here, and that's got to exacerbate the situation for these work crews, but they are not giving up. They continue to bring in the gravel trucks and try to push that levee higher, and we can only hope that their efforts are going to make a difference. But at this point, the water level and the table is so high out here that the water continues to rise, and the businesses are taking precautions, getting out what they brought back, unfortunately, in hopes that they can spare what's left out here in Chesterfield Valley.
I think everybody would like to remain optimistic, but from what you've just shown us, the number of areas where the water appears to be getting through this makeshift levee is definitely not a hopeful sign.
No, it's not. And we've seen a lot of businesses like the Smokehouse, as we showed you a few minutes ago, moving out furniture and equipment already this morning in anticipation of these floodwaters getting higher.
And this is about a mile, maybe a little more than a mile long stretch of Etherton Road that they're trying to shore up. So that's a long stretch, and when the gravel, they just pour the gravel on the side of the road, and the water just eventually seeps through that gravel. So I don't know. I think it's going to be a futile effort, although they continue to work on it.
And the combination of the Missouri cresting today, as well as the rain that Paul Williams says we're going to get, it really does not look like a very good situation out here in the valley.
And I'm sure most people are aware of it, but just very quickly, the Monarch levee, which is off to our camera right, obviously gave way in late July, 8 weeks ago today. There you see the break, and that, of course, has not been repaired. Some business people in that Chesterfield Valley area upset that repairs had not been made yet. That is what has caused this makeshift levee, the Etherton Road, to be the last stand, if you will. And it is clearly not of the same standard, Gene and Alan, of what the original Monarch levee was.
Yes, it is. is, and yet it may be a little too little too late. The waters have risen much too fast for the work that they've done here, and it just does not look very promising.
You know, on the other hand, I've seen we've seen too many miracles in these last floods. So you know, I'm not counting them out all the way. They're still continuing to work and putting up a heck of an effort out here. A lot of people out here are really putting a lot of time, a lot of work, tons and tons of gravel going into this levee.
They had been ferrying, Gene and Alan, I know, ferrying people out there last night to sandbag, and I think around 11 or 11:30 last night, they decided it just wasn't safe enough to keep those people out there, so they left it to the county crews with the trucks and the gravel to try to put up the fight. But Alan, you're right. After what we saw in some towns, and Kimmswick and Prairie du Rocher and some other places, I don't think you can ever give up the fight.
No, you're right, and yeah, I think the sandbagging just took too long, was too slow. Now they're just using dump trucks with gravel and trying just to build that levee up as much as they can. And you know, I don't know. They may do it. They may do it. But with the rain that we have forecast to come in, and we may get more rain after that, it's going to be a long, long fight.
The rain beating down on this gravel levee is going to make it very, very difficult for these guys to stop all of the seepage that is coming right through the gravel. And you can see there's some whitish water on top of the road and on the left side of the road there. And that's where that water is coming through. And then, of course, the sand boil, it's just gushing through.
Valley area. That obviously is near Eureka. It's apparently some new houses in that area are having to be evacuated. I am told that it's an area that had not flooded before, but that is taking on water now. And earlier today, I took a couple of phone calls from people down in the Eureka area saying the water had come up dramatically there. They were concerned not only about their area, but the Times Beach area as well. But apparently there are some evacuations going on down in that area. We're going to have some people headed that way, and we'll keep you up to date on that situation. Valley Park, where a number of areas that have not flooded before are now underwater. Chesterfield, as you just saw, the Chesterfield Valley area, a frantic effort going on to try to shore up a makeshift levee there, but water is